There are gazillions of chiggers, probably more than there are stars in the sky. Tall grasses like this are an absolute perfect place for chiggers to, almost like ticks, quest and get themselves on their host species. Now, I'm barefoot, which I would never recommend, but considering the fact that I am trying to get myself bitten by chiggers, this seems like an interesting way to possibly accomplish that feat. Okay, today is a solo expedition where I'm going to attempt to be eaten alive by chiggers. Now, we'll learn more about chiggers as we embark upon this expedition, but I will be kayaking from Middle Bass to North Bass Island in the hopes of finding a swarm of these microscopic creatures. This is going to be an epic adventure. It will take me roughly an hour and 15 minutes to kayak from Middle Bass to North Bass Island. And then once we make it to North Bass, I will enter the island through Manila Bay. It gives me the entry point to the large marsh. Beautiful morning to be on the water, that's for sure.
So what exactly is a chigger? Well, to keep it simple, they are the larva stage of something called a harvest mite. Technically considered arachnids, they belong to the same class as ticks and spiders. But unlike their larger cousins, while in the larva stage, they're so tiny they can't be seen with the human eye and measure 1/50th of an inch or less.
Okay, we have made it to the western edge of North Bass Island. I gotta say, the solo expedition filming is not super simple, so I gotta give a big shout out to my main man, Les Stroud, who filmed all those seasons of Survivor. Holy cow. Actually, going through all this underbrush might help me get chiggers. Old tree that's falling down right in the middle of this place. There we go. Whoa. Oh, almost lost the GoPro there. What a mess. Jeez. Okay, status update. I'm in the middle of the marsh. The moving has gotten a little bit easier through these big lily pads. They're taller, which allows me to glide through the environment just a touch better. But when it comes to finding any animals, I mean, they can hear me coming from a mile away, so. Oh, I see an eagle's nest and two eagles inside the eagle's nest. Holy cow. All right, first animal of the expedition is officially a juvenile bald eagle. You can see there's another one a little bit higher up in the tree. Very cool. This place is just swallowing me alive. There's only so many shots you can possibly get of being stuck in a prehistoric swamp, or prehistoric looking rather. And the only thing missing from this is maybe some brachiosaurs grazing on all this plant life. That'd make it a little bit more interesting.
While there is a chance I could encounter a species of chigger in the marsh, it is much more likely that I will become a buffet line if I venture to the other side of the island to explore on foot.
Interesting little forest area here. Look at this rock structure. Now, I'm barefoot, which I would never recommend entering a forest barefoot, but considering the fact that I am trying to get myself bitten by chiggers, this seems like an interesting way to possibly accomplish that feat. Old dilapidated structure here. Every once in a while, when you stop at a random spot on an island and start exploring lost areas, you come across some pretty cool stuff.
The harvest mite life cycle can vary and depends heavily on species and environment. But what's crazy is that these alien-looking arachnids can live for nearly a year. Most eggs hatch within a week. This is known as the pre-larva stage, and after developing for several days, they evolve into hungry parasites. This is the six-legged chigger phase, and boy are they ravenous. They target a host, engorge on skin, and eventually fall off. Plump and happy, they are now in the nymph stage, where they develop another pair of legs and mature into the adult phase. As adults, they feed on tiny arthropods and their eggs, live in the soil, eventually breed, and the cycle repeats.
Check out the shoe I just found. That is a Nike Air Foam Posit, worn by Penny Hardaway, my favorite basketball player of all time. That is insane. Any sneakerhead out there knows that this is actually a very expensive shoe to find on the side of an abandoned island. This is the all black edition. I have the blue and the black tiger stripe ones. I'm gonna definitely keep that. We're docking. Okay, I have landed in my final destination on North Bass Island. Now we're gonna take to foot and see what sort of things we can find. Now the goal is to find some tall grasses that I can walk through, eventually sit down in and have a drink of water and see if I collect any chiggers. So tall grasses like this are an absolute perfect place for chiggers to, almost like ticks, quest and get themselves on their host species. Pretty much any terrestrial species has the potential of picking up chiggers. Pretty much got to the end of this run of the field. I'm gonna cut over and go down another track. It is unbearably hot. Felt a lot better on the water. This looks like another great place to get chiggers. Look at that. Let's walk in here and see what happens. Into the underbrush. Whoa, this is very disorienting. Okay, I have completely been swallowed by grasses that are taller than I am, covered in mayflies. Ugh. I'm just gonna sit here for a few minutes, give any little bugs the opportunity to get on me. And trust me, the chiggers will know that I am here if they are present in these grasses, because they can sense all of the sweat and carbon dioxide coming off of my body.
A chigger bite is painless, but the way it happens will make your skin crawl. These parasites attach to a host, pierce the skin with their chelicerae, inject enzymes into the bite wound that break down cell content into a digestible meal, and then suck up the liquefied tissue through a tube formed by hardened skin cells called a stylostome. Ugh, gross. The aftermath arrives in 24 to 48 hours in the form of unsightly red welts that seem to itch unstoppably. This is your body's natural histamine reaction to the invasive saliva. Contrary to popular belief, they do not suck blood, and they do not burrow into your skin to lay eggs. However, chiggers can stay with, explore, and feast on a host for several days before falling off. And because of the delay in bite reaction, that is why welts can show up day after day after day.
You definitely will not be able to see them with the naked eye. But they're here. Trust me, they are here. Now, the worst part about chiggers is that most of the time they try to burrow down into areas that are hard to get at. So like your belt/underwear line, around your ankles. They like tight, compact, warm areas that have soft skin and good blood flow. So right now, there's the chance that they are getting on me. Now, a bite you will not feel, but if I am bitten, the reaction will present itself within 24 to 48 hours. And I can guarantee you that on North Bass Island, there are gazillions of chiggers, probably more than there are stars in the sky, because I've gotten chiggers on this island before. And without a doubt, I have a feeling that right now, with my legs down in the grasses, just like this, I am probably getting them on me at the moment. Well, I'm on my way back from North Bass Island. I kayaked all the way around it. I went into the marsh. We scouted the swamp. I found all sorts of treasures, including a Nike Air Foamposite. And with any luck, I am now covered in chiggers. I did my best to find the tallest grasses possible, went into them, sat down, and hopefully they are on my body at this point. All right, guys, stay tuned. We'll see you in the aftermath. Okay, well, it has been 48 hours since I returned from North Bass Island. And I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that I was successfully eaten alive by chiggers. The bad news is that all the bites are in areas I can't really show you if we want to keep this episode rated PG. Now, I find that the bites become inflamed every time I get out of the shower, and you want to itch and itch and itch and itch them, which is actually the worst thing you can do. If you open up the bites, you can get bacteria inside of them, and ultimately an infection may form. What you want to do is apply Chigger X. This is the original, 2 times strength and with 10% benzocaine. I apply this just before I go to bed, and I manage to sleep 12 hours through the night with no itching. In the morning, I reapply it and go the entire day, no itching. And I want to continue applying it until the chigger bites have completely subsided. Trust me, chiggers are no fun. And while I know you guys can't really see what's going on with me right now, trust me, as soon as this wears off, it becomes very uncomfortable. But if you find yourself this summer in the worst case scenario, whether it's at a backyard picnic or exploring an abandoned island and you manage to get eaten alive by chiggers, Chigger X is the one thing that is going to help alleviate all of that itching. For more information, make sure to visit their website, and hopefully you don't have to go through the itchy scenario that I am facing right now. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure.